Hey everybody, this is Crunky here, today to show you some OBS Studio 64-bit VST filters for your audio sources. That was a lot to say. Basically, I have this Yeti here, and it sounds like crap out of the box, in my opinion. All my viewers are like, hey, you should use this headset instead because you sound way more controlled, and it's a lot easier to dial this in because it's a fixed distance away from your mouth, and I like it. But anyway, not here to talk about that, other than why I needed to go through and do these settings. In OBS Studio 64-bit, there are virtual filters you can add to audio sources called VST extensions. They're a little bit more complicated, but I have a lot of experience in audio engineering from playing in bands and running EQ boards and stuff, so software and editing podcasts and stuff. So I had a couple people ask me how I set my mic up, and I wanted to have a place I could point them to. I have an audio source. I'm going to assume you know a little bit about OBS if you're here. I have an audio source here on my regular scene, my live scene, which has a Yeti in it. This is my source. You could do this at any audio source, but you can do this on any audio source. You can add filters to it. You right-click, click on Filters, and that brings up this window. This is your filters window for the Yeti. Basically, I have 5 filters that I'm using, and the order, they're not in order here, but the order you add them is important because they build on each other. The first thing you want to do is go into Windows. I don't know if this will show. Right click, go into Recording Devices. That'll open up this window and your sound. My Yeti's at the very bottom here. Right click on it, Properties, and then go to Levels. I leave mine at 100. Some people tell you not to do that. They'll go to 90. Your miles may vary. I had to put mine at 100 to get the volume I wanted. I have my Yeti on 50% on the actual hardware, and I have it set to cardioid pattern, which is the circle with the little V in it, a little bump in it. It's omnidirectional. It's supposed to pick up just your voice. So we'll see how that works. Next thing you want to do is go into your gain. Look at your mixer down here. You can see the Yeti green line is pretty hot. You don't want it to ever go red. But if you have any issues getting it to go up to here, or maybe at 75%, then you can bump up your gain here a little bit. Should really do it on the mic if you could help it. You don't want to have too many gains set on your mic. It will distort the sound a little bit. The next thing you want to do is go to compression. I'll show you how to add one of these. When you first come in here, if you don't have any filters, you hit the plus button, and even though there is a compressor built into OBS, this one, I would not recommend that one. If you have the wrong version of OBS or the one I'm not using here, and you don't have the VST 2.x plugins, then you can use the built-in compressor, but it's not quite as customizable, I don't think, as the VST one. I think it uses different software. But anyway, click on this. You would add a filter. I'm not actually going to add one, but you would basically get this screen right here. It would show now a VS2 plugin. You would go down here, choose Real or REA Comp Standalone, and then click this button to open up the interface. You don't have to do this every time. These are just the one-time settings. This REA Plugs Edition, Kako's REA Comp Real Plugs Edition panel. Once you set it, all these settings will stay. You can just close it out. Here are the settings I recommend. Leave everything else alone. If this attack is not set on 3 milliseconds, go ahead and set it. You want your ratio to be, I would recommend 3:1 and not much higher than that. And I would check limit output, because that will keep if you do peak, if something really loud happens on your mic, you hit it, it won't send a pop through your stream. That's all there is to compression. What this does is it tries to equal out the sound a bit. Basically, if your volume is here and here at different times, it tries to squeeze them down into one. It increases the volume of quiet stuff and decreases the volume of loud stuff. It tries to compress the spectrum down into a range that's more even. That way your stream doesn't go from really, really quiet to really, really loud all of a sudden. So let's go here. Next, we're going to go to EQ. We basically go down here and click Add VST 2.plugin, and that will open up this window. Go down here to REA EQ, REA EQ. That's the real Kako's Real Effects standalone equalizer. So open up the plugin here, and this is where you'll spend a lot of your time editing and maintaining to squeeze out exactly the frequencies you need for your voice. Everybody's voice is a little different. Generally, the male voice is going to need to be boosted here and cut here. My voice, I know from singing, is not the deepest of the register of an average guy. It's a little on the higher side, so I move it. I have my bass boost and mid cut crossing it right here between, that's 600, I want to say, maybe close to 600. I'm not sure exactly, but that's where I have it cut. Basically, you would go in here, change all your settings to band EQ, and then if you don't have enough buttons to move these things around like this, you can right click and add a band. So you can move, you can then like move your curves around, and you just literally draw on here where you want it. What I would recommend is record yourself, and then record yourself talking and do a couple different sections like this and move things around. But this is the profile that I use. If you're a guy and you want a bass line, set this up and then kind of tweak it from there. If you're a girl, I would set it up like this, but I would move everything over. I would move this cross to about right here, and you may not want as much mid scoop. You may actually want you may want to shrink that mid scoop a little bit. But anyway, I would totally recommend that. This is where the meat and potatoes of your audio EQ, of your audio quality is going to come from. So spend your time here if you're going to spend a lot of time on this. And then the last thing is, after you have all those things set up, this VST noise reduction. It's the second to last thing actually. Click here, go to VST. Don't use the noise suppression that's in OBS. It's not quite as robust. Add the VST 2.x plugin. Select it here. It's called REAFIR. I don't know what that stands for, but that's where the noise reduction one is. Open the plugin interface, and you see this yellow line here, right? This dancing yellow line is what my voice graphically represented right now. You can see I have a red little red line there too, right here. That is my noise reduction profile. Okay, what I did right there was adjust my noise reduction profile. Basically, go into edit mode, precise, subtract, and then be really quiet and click on this automatic build noise profile. What it will do is it will hear all the sound that's coming into the microphone that's not you, all the background noise, your furnace, wind, whatever, and it will cut that out. But you have to be really quiet when you do it, and then uncheck automatically build noise profile. This red line here is my automatic noise profile cut out. So the only thing you're hearing is whenever the yellow line crosses the red line. If I'm really quiet right now, you'll see the yellow line move still. That yellow line is like my CPU fan spinning or my furnace going, whatever, and this gets rid of all that. Another tip, make sure that when you do this, you can do it if you have a furnace noise in your house, that you're doing it while your furnace is on, or whatever your noise source is that's always in your stream. Unfortunately, I can't Blockbuster out, or my stream would be quiet. So anyway, that is the REAFIR noise reducer. Last one I would recommend is the noise gate. That's an actual, if you go here and just add the one that's in OBS. There is a noise gate in the VST plugins. It's not as easy for me to use. You may enjoy it, but this is the one I use. Leave all this stuff down here default. These numbers don't really mean much to me. What I found is the farther you go to the right, the more it cuts out. The farther you go to the left, the more it's opened up. You want your open threshold to be slightly less than your closed threshold. And what the trick is, watch your source down here in the mixer as you adjust it. You basically don't want it to be too aggressive on the open, or it will cut off the beginning of your sentences. If you see here, now you might hear me being cut off. If I go way to the left here, it's open all the time. It'll never close. You see here, all my background noise comes right through the Yeti. That little line right there. But I enjoy having it about right there. Is that right? You'll watch when I stop talking. With at -41 for me, this line will disappear. That means it's dead silence. There's no signal going through when I'm not talking, and anything that does background noise will trigger it. But just another, the noise gate is not essential, but I would highly recommend it if you want to have high quality audio coming out. The funny thing is, even after all this, I still like the headset sound better, but this is as good as I've got this Yeti to sound so far. Biggest key is distance to your face. If your Yeti's off in the other room, or off in the other part of your room, then you're going to have a really hard time hearing it. So you want it to be close. Control the distance as best you can. It's hard to do though sometimes, but you'll notice all the big streamers, they have a microphone right here, right in their face. So that is going to do it, guys. If you have any questions, comments, leave them in the video description below or in the comment section below, and I will see you soon. Bye.